Hello everyone, welcome back to Luke's Anime Talk. I'm going to go over some of the most recent anime I've been watching. And there's a part 2 looking over Cyberpunk Edgerunners, episodes 6 through 10. So if you haven't seen the first episode going through episodes 1 through 5, make sure to go give that a watch. So for this video, we'll start off with episode 6. While Kiwi is trying to hack into Tanaka's head, Main starts to show signs of cyberpsychosis and punches Kiwi out cold into the hospital. Main is hallucinating the majority of the time and become aggressive with everyone. Lucy and David decide to try Tanaka again, with Lucy this time. While Lucy's out, Tanaka wakes up and David buckles under the pressure. Main also passes out. Eventually, Main and Dorio come back, but Tanaka dies. David and Lucy escape, but Main and Dorio are trapped by police, and during the firefight, Dorio dies. Main now goes full cyber psycho, killing everyone, and even David can't help him. Main blows himself and the building up, with David and Lucy escaping, and Tanaka having no data, so it was all a waste. So this was a crazy episode. So Main is basically starting to show signs of this cyber psychosis, which we saw in the first episode with that video clip that David was watching, and he is just going full loony at this point. Like, he's hallucinating all the time, he's getting like shakes in his hands, and he's become aggressive with everyone because he's in complete denial about the fact that he is going cyber psycho, and he won't take no from anyone, and he's constantly taking this, I think it's called chrome, it's like a drug to keep them from going over the top or crazy, and it kind of stabilizes their head that connects with their tech parts. So he is just going completely off the wall at this point. And when Dorio dies, it's kind of like a mixture between the police and Main kind of just shooting, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and Dorio just gets riddled with bullets, and that just sends Main into a complete hellfire of rage, and he just blows up everything and does not care at all. He just about cares enough to let David escape, and they are just traumatized because all David can save were his arms, and that's all they could save at the end. And with Tanaka, they had no data, so it was all worthless in the end. Okay, and then on to episode 7. There has been somewhat of a time jump, and David has bulked up and changed his whole look into a cyborg now. Basically head to toe of all cybernetic parts. He's basically got nothing left human-wise. David is now the de facto leader, but Lucy now no longer does the work. David completed the newest mission with Rebecca and Kiwi. After a successful job, Kiwi sets up a meeting with Main's old contact, Faraday, and David accepts his job. David and Lucy are living together, but Lucy now no longer does net running. While out, Lucy tells David about, as a child, Arasaka used her and other children as tools until she escaped. David is shaking like Mine used to now, and it's starting to look like he's starting to have some of the symptoms of the cyberpsychosis, which is not good. Lucy is also showing signs of something nefarious, so we see her literally at the end of the episode. She's hunting people, and her eyes light up red, so whatever happened in Tanaka's head affected her, and whatever information she found, she's trying to get rid of all that information, and she doesn't want anything getting out, and any of these people looking for it, she's going to stop them. Okay, and then on to episode 8. David is starting to show even more signs of cyberpsychosis, not just the handshakes, but hallucinations now as well. Faraday is attacked and makes a deal with Arasaka to hand over Lucy. Rebecca is trying to help David, but he isn't interested. Lucy is still tracking Netrunners since the Tanaka incident. When David passes out, Lucy takes him to the Ripper Dog, where he gives him prescriptions, but 9 times the dosage this time. So he is at the point where all the prescription drugs to keep his mind from going crazy is not working, and he's built up a resistance to it, and he's got to take 9 times the amount, so you know it's bad for him now. With how secretive both David and Lucy have been with each other, they talk about separating. Lucy gets intel and has to leave immediately, but is set up and captured by Faraday. So this is where it's starting to get really bad for David. His mind is starting to fracture and fall apart. He's getting the shakes, and he's starting to hallucinate stuff as well, and all the stuff that Lucy's doing on the side to hunt down these people who are looking for the information, it's kind of backfired on her now because she got set up in a trap, and it's kind of all falling apart for the team, and it's not looking good. Okay, and on to episode 9. The plan is in place for David's team to hit a convoy of Arasaka trucks, with another team as decoys. Faraday is waiting for an Arasaka pickup to deliver Lucy to them. They attack the convoy, with David constantly using the Sand of Eastern, and when they finally stop the convoy, they find the cyber skeleton. During this, they are also attacked by Militech, who are also trying to get the cyber skeleton. Faraday pretends to be Lucy and tells David to get into the cyber skeleton. Lucy wakes up and tells David not to, but it's too late and Faraday stuns her. David gets into the cyber skeleton, which is basically a small mech suit. He kills all the Militech agents. David and team go to rescue Lucy and kill Faraday. So it's getting even worse at this point. David is basically in this mech where his arms and legs are cut off and he's basically just a torso in the middle of this suit of armour, and it is just messing him up with the Sand of Easter spine tech. As a set, it's ruining his brain, and the injections, he has to constantly take them now, because it's basically his brain is falling apart and he can't tell reality from fiction now, and he's on the verge of going cyber psycho, and it's not looking good for him at all, especially when they got set up as well, and they are in a tough spot because Faraday has them in a bad position facing Militech and Arasaka. Okay, and then to the last episode, episode 10, David, Falco and Rebecca are all chasing Faraday to get Lucy, while Militech is after them as well. David has basically gone full cyber psycho, hallucinating his mum, and the med shots are only doing so much. Kiwi wants to leave, but Faraday says he'll pay after they meet, and when they do, he shoots her in the heart. Before she dies, she puts a tracker on Faraday and sends it to David. Arasaka and Militech are both after David now, so basically Militech want the suit, but Arasaka also want the suit, but they want David as well because he's a good test subject to test out all these tech on him, because even though he is going cyber psycho, he's still somewhat resistant to it compared to a lot of other people, so he's a good test subject for their future plans. Everyone goes to Arasaka headquarters, and when David gets there, he frees Lucy, kills Arasaka's guards, and knocks Faraday out of the window. This is a really gruesome moment where Faraday is knocked out of the window. He's basically hit with a gravity pulse, and his leg gets cut off, and then he falls out of the window, and you see him fall all the way down and just smash into the floor. It is gruesome as all hell, but it's a fitting end to a rather dirty villain, I'd say that. Arasaka sends Adam Smasher to finish off David, and Adam Smasher kills Rebecca. So Adam Smasher is basically this old school Arasaka, like he's like a guard almost, or a mercenary, and he's more or less basically all tech now. He's got no signs of human, and he is just full on machine massacre. He kills Rebecca by just flying through the air and stomping on her, and it kills her outright. David fights Adam while Lucy and Falco escape, but in the end, David dies. Lucy visits the moon, like promised, and she imagines David and looks to the sun. This is a crazy end to this series. Like you start off with the first 5 episodes with them building up their team, and it's looking promising, and then 6 through 10 is just pure, just the team's falling apart, all the members die, and it just gets worse and worse, and David ends up going full psycho, and there's just no helping him at this point, and he sacrifices himself to let Lucy escape. It's kind of a bittersweet end because Lucy got to go to the moon, not with David, and it's just kind of a sad ending of her looking at the sun. It just ends, and it's kind of really sad because they had a team together, and it just kind of ends with only Lucy surviving in the end. So overall, it's a great anime. Like I said in the first part, if you love Trigger, the animation is going to be top tier for you. The violence is top tier animation violence, so if you love that, you're going to love this. The tech stuff with all the characters, especially David, is awesome because you get to see how he evolves from using a couple of bits of tech like the spine, Sand of Easter, to now having head to toe full tech out, and it's awesome. The characters are great. I love all the team members, especially Rebecca. She's a bit of a loose cannon on the team, but she's fun to watch. But yeah, everyone dies at the end, so it's kind of a bummer ending. But I love the journey as a whole, so that was always good. But yeah, if you love anime, I definitely recommend giving this a watch. But yeah, that's all from me. If you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. And until next time, I will see you all later.